Quick note to say this is a slightly longer episode than normal. It has been a while that Vic and I chatted like this, so we got slightly off topic at the beginning of this episode.
But today's episode, we're going to talk about the US government is essentially striking and what that means for the rest of the country, rest of the world. We're also going to talk about a new investing trend, a new labubu. There is a grocery product that's also kind of taking off.
Which sounds boring. Very interesting.
Very interesting. And lastly, the London Stock Exchange.
Oh my God, huge
might be
news.
for sale.
There's actually a lot in this episode that is genuinely really interesting. We get past my stubbed toe very quickly. So on to that random story, but enjoy the episode.
How's your morning been, Soph?
I stomped my big toe with a Lime bike.
Oh.
It was leaning against. So for anyone that's not based in London, Lime bikes have become quite normal. Like they used to be kind of embarrassing. I remember saying to people, like I'd go to a blind date and if I saw him on a Lime bike or like dismantling a Lime bike, I'd be like, oh, ick.
Also when you can't put the seat up and you're riding, like,
oh yeah,
I'm like, oh my God, no one see me.
It's so embarrassing. But anyway, so now it's become really common. Like most people get around London using e-bikes. And
in summer, I reckon in winter, it's so hard because it's rainy. The number of times we've turned up to work absolutely drenched.
Yeah, true.
But
it'll be interesting to see what happens because this is probably the biggest year e-bikes have had, right?
Yeah.
Like this morning it was raining and when I got on my Lime bike I had to like wipe the seat and anyway, it was leaning against a fence, which often means that like the stand's broken or something's broken, which at the moment is like very common. Like they're often missing a seat or they're missing
or like you jump on, you're like, this one's great. And then you go to ride and it's got no pedal and you fall over the handlebars.
Honestly, like it is constant. Anyway, so I went to like get on this Lime bike this morning and I came to like sort of stand it up because I assumed that the stand wasn't working. The stand was working and it just like, because they're so heavy.
Yeah.
Fully squished my big toe.
Ow.
And I was like standing there like, don't cry. And this girl was like, Lime bikes. I was like, I know. She was like, this is my third Lime bike this morning. I've had to jump off 3. She's just like, I'm off it. I was
and
like,
it's always when you're in a hurry.
Yeah. But it did make me think, Vic, I was like, I wonder if Lime bikes or e-bikes because limes feel like they're turning to shit in the sense that they are always broken. They're like, it's so hard to, honestly, it's quite funny. You see someone like looking at a Lime bike before they scan it to use it and they're like checking the tire, checking the, because it's just like common knowledge. They're all shit. I wonder if there's like investing ideas in up and coming e-bikes or something.
I actually read a headline. There's more e-bikes now in the world than EVs, the electric vehicles, which is quite amazing. But yeah, I think even with that, like there's such demand for any electric mobility that, yeah, I mean, I don't know any like up and coming electric bike companies, but yeah, it's definitely like an overarching trend. But it's almost just like Uber just needs to get its A into G, fix its limes.
True. Oh yeah, because
Uber
I
owns
forget
Lime.
that
Yeah.
Uber owns it.
But also, like, I think the amount of times I use a lime versus the issues I have versus like how many there are on the streets. I know we complain, but if like something works, you don't even think about it. It's when it doesn't work. It's like when you read reviews for a bad restaurant and you're like, oh, that must be terrible. It's like, no, because if you go and you have a really nice experience, you don't, most of the time you don't leave a review. It's only when you have a bad time, you leave a bad review. So then everything looks a little bit worse for that restaurant. Anyway, that's kind of what I'm getting at. But also, I reckon I've lost so much hair when
I thought you were going to say weight for some reason. I was like, you're not exactly like working off any calories on an e-bike.
I know, it's so fun when you're just like,
you just
up the hill. No, like I
always look
love
at people on normal bikes. I'm like, sucker.
I know. And they're probably like,
lazy bitch.
Yeah. Yeah, I love like biking, especially in summer and like my hair's in the wind and I'm like,
feel like Olivia Dean.
Got my like, Olivia Dean in my ears and I'm like, I love London. And then I get to like work, I'm like,
what your hair?
Honestly, it's like clumps.
I mean, I will take matted hair and like a 15-minute journey over 45 minutes on a bus.
Yeah,
that smells of someone's peanut butter sandwich any day.
Yeah.
Before we get into the news, I wanted to say I did something last week. So firstly, thank you so much, Emily, for filling in. I know that was she was very good, wasn't she?
Yeah.
I was like, oh God, I'm out of a job. But no, I took a week off and I spent it by myself. in the middle of nowhere. And when I say the middle of nowhere, like I didn't have a car, I couldn't get food. It was like
No e-bike?
no e-bike.
Yeah.
I was on a kind of like my family's farm. There's this little cabin that I stayed in. Anyway, it was the first time that I had put time in. Do you remember when I did that Vipassana meditation ages ago? It was like 4 years ago now. And it was 10 days of not talking and it was like really off the grid and it was so good.
You've really made up for it now, haven't you? The no talking.
But I was like, God, I really haven't had time by myself or like time to just think or decompress, you know? And I think when we have holidays or breaks, it makes sense to want to go and do something fun with friends or like, I don't know, go traveling and make the most of it. But even if it's a day or a weekend, this headspace and like the clarity and the calm that I think you get from being by yourself is so amazing. And I just wanted to encourage anyone that's like, wow, I feel like overwhelmed or whatever. I think that even if it was a weekend, I know there's those little cute cabins in New Zealand, the unyoked ones, which we've both stayed in.
Yeah.
And you can kind of disconnect. They're not super expensive. I don't know. I feel like there's so much going on in the world at the moment. It can get really overwhelming. And sometimes all you need is just a minute in nature to be able to just come back feeling a bit more refreshed.
Yeah.
I feel like it's time well spent, even though it can feel like a waste. You're like, I could be in Italy, could be eating pasta. It's like, yeah, sometimes maybe all you need to do is sit your ass down, watch a Netflix show, go for a naked hot tub, do a little walk in the forest.
Like so many mums listening being like, I would love to take a week off and go into the woods.
I know.
But no, Bill Gates does that. He goes to, I mean, he's probably got a million houses, but he goes to like one of his spots, but he takes like 10 bags of books.
Really?
And he just reads for a week, just like book after book after book. I was like,
that's your dream, is it not?
I know, but I'm like, I don't know, like that much condensed reading in a week. Like the number of books that he goes through is insane. He must read like one every couple of hours or something.
I'm just unfortunately very slow at reading. Like it would take me a week to get through one book. But I mean, Bill Gates is one to look up to, so maybe he's onto something.
Have you seen his daughter's new business?
No.
Oh my God. I mean, Nepo baby, but you know, it's this, I'm going to butcher this, but it is like an app that you put on when you go shopping. And so say you wanted to buy that black blazer and you were on the website for
Miu Miu, because I can afford Miu Miu.
Say you're on the Miu Miu website and you're like, oh, this blazer's cool. It would pop up where that is sold at cheaper prices. Like,
Genius.
Yeah. And so you just have this like little, I don't know, attachment to your wherever you're searching, and it's like, hey, it's actually £80 on this website. Or
oh my God, no, that is such a good
it's
idea.
So incredible. Yeah.
Wow, that is so clever, because I reckon so many people just spend hours. Like I've started asking ChatGPT, but even yesterday I went to try and buy these Korean face masks, which I swear by every time I put them on.
Although it's the ones that dissolve at night.
Biodance or something. Yeah, they dissolve.
Yeah, they're so good.
Holy shit, guys. I look 10 years younger wearing them. Don't put me off them. I don't want to hear.
It's just when you wake up and you forget you've got it on, you know, and you're like.
See, I wake up in the middle of the night and it's not quite done yet, and I'm just off it, so I rip it off.
Great for planes.
But
I'm going to stock up.
What was the point here? I went to buy 10 of them at this Korean place last night.
Yeah.
And then I quickly looked online to like, this is so naughty, but like on Amazon or other places to see how much cheaper it was. And I was like, it's £5 less for 4.
Yeah.
And I was going to get 10. So it's like essentially £10, which I know isn't like huge, but you know, when you're on a budget, that's quite a bit. So then I put them back and I just got 2 immediately and thought, okay, I'll get the rest online.
It's called Fia.
Her business.
Yeah, PHIA, and it's shopping assistant.
Such a good idea. Because I had to awkwardly go, excuse me, I'm not going to pay for these, and step to the side, and then had to quickly like look up where I could find them to check the price. But that's such a good business model.
An AI agent to help users make smarter purchasing decisions by comparing prices, resale values, product details, blah, blah, blah. She would have so much pressure to do something epic.
Imagine you'd be paralyzed by all the different ideas you have. Yeah. Oh, what's Dad going to think?
I know, yeah. And then also like even I just said like Nepo baby, you know, like, oh, well, of course your business is going to do well. You know, like all of that would be like.
I just think you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, so you may as well do it. And
so it's your advantage. Like
totally.
Your dad's a tech guru. Do something in the tech space. You've got so much connections. get funding, like do something.
Yeah, because I agree. And I remember, I think I was
and do
listening
something with us, if you want to like, start something, just reach out. It's totally fine. We're all ears. Even if it's selling toilet paper, anything. Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. Actually on that, can we quickly read out, I'll like paraphrase it, but that email that we got about someone wanting to know more about business, because I think this is such a perfect segue to talk about women, business, and the idea of like starting to think about ideas. Hey, the Curve team. I've never reached out to a potty before, so I'm feeling like I've gone rogue, but I'm experiencing a frustration with business investment opportunities and the barrier that we face as women. And I wonder if this is something that you could or would want to cover in an episode. I've always wanted to own a business, and yet I still haven't done anything about it because I don't really know how to go about it. And I haven't found any advice, resources to help someone like me understand what opportunities look like or are available, or better yet, even a role model who has done this. I know lots of women that have founded their own businesses, some that have great success, and I hear about this often, but this normally happens within their sphere of interest or knowledge, and it's on a small scale. People start salons, they start food businesses, interior design, baby products, financial education for women, in brackets, Bravo, etc. I don't hear anything about women buying insulation factories, bus equipment, importers, glazing installers, things that they know nothing about, making a ton of money and then selling them for millions of dollars 2 years later. But I do hear about heaps of men doing this. Why? I think that there's a worthy discussion here in a proportion of the population, and I assume that these are majority men, well-educated, affluent backgrounds, know that there are business investment opportunities available to them that other people would never even realize existed or were possible. How do we raise the curve and lift the curtain for the rest of the population? What makes one portion of people likely to achieve this than others? I don't think it's necessarily skill. I think it's belief. Thanks for listening, and thanks for an awesome podcast. I'm an avid listener and love what you do. This got me thinking. What did you think?
I have two thoughts on that.
Yeah.
Firstly, her point around, lots of men are buying businesses. They're years ahead in terms of building their wealth, right? Like than we are.
Do you mean because they have money to
buy
a business?
They've had access to debt. They've had access to, investing. They've been the breadwinners for so long, and I'm using very like traditional roles here, but they're just miles ahead, and we've seen that. That's why there's a wealth gap. That's why there's a gender pay gap, like all of that. So that's kind of, I think that's probably why she's saying there is more men buying businesses, because they have the wealth to do it or the money to do it. The other thing is, when she was like, this typically is, businesses that this in their sphere of knowledge, their sphere, wow. Their sphere and knowledge, which is so true, right? It's a very different sphere to ours. Sphere.
One of my favourite things is about getting words wrong. It's just so off-brand for someone that's so smart.
If you were interested in a manufacturing facility, then you would. But like very little women are, because we're not really in those roles either. They're much more, intensive and like hands-on, and, we tend to be more in like nursing or, teaching, which again, huge generalization. But so like we're not going to identify those opportunities. But that's okay. It doesn't mean there's the ones over here are less fruitful, because they're not going to identify. But
that's kind of what she's saying, though, is like, what I read from that was like almost the idea that for guys, it doesn't matter if it's their area of competence. They're just looking for businesses. They don't care if it's like...
It's society, right? It's how we've been brought up. It's how we've been told. It's like men grow your wealth, women save your money. Like it starts from such a young age, and it's like conditioned in us. The number of mums I talk to, and they're like, oh, my son who's like 13 is, talking about stocks and trading with his friends, doing like fake investing clubs and stuff like that. With fake money. Whereas the daughter's into skincare and like, and it's just like they don't even know when that separation happened. Like it's so systemic.
I think it's also, you look at some of the most successful businesses in the world, like even that Flow app, the female period app was founded by men, that was an opportunity. If women had been thinking or had their business hats on, we could have spotted that. But
I think also, sorry, before I forget, I think, sorry, I'm just like
passionate,
it's like, this is actually a really good, like hats off to her for sending this and being interested in like spotting like, hey, hang on, why can't I do that? Because that's like the start of unpacking it, right? And like it might not be in our generation, but it's like, the more that women start thinking about this, the more it closes that gap. But also Warren Buffett always talks about this, and that is that like it's the boring businesses that are sometimes the most successful. You don't have to have the glossy new app or, you know, like the one with the shiny storefront. It's like toilet paper, you know?
Who gives a crap? What an epic business.
Yeah, you can make like even like I remember this business that it had a monopoly. So it was like the sole creator of corks for wine bottles. And it was worth billions. Like things like Zips, the company that invented Zips. Shit you don't even think about, like aluminium cans. How many people are moving to cans, like glass and cans over plastic now? Like those types of quote unquote boring businesses
can make millions and
can
millions.
Make absolutely millions. And it's like you don't have to think, it has to be like shiny and new. And you can just buy an existing business and make it slightly better and then have this really great income stream for the rest of your life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, before we move into the news, no, I'm so here for this. Like, I think there is such a massive opportunity to talk about business, how to run a business finances, to talk about what does it even mean to buy a business? What would the things be that you should look for if you have an idea and you need to be funded and therefore you need to go and raise capital? How on earth do you do that? I think that if you are at all interested in this, I would love to put a poll on this podcast, wherever you're listening, if you can vote if this is something you'd be interested in. And just feel free to comment anything, because we are in a position where we could totally go and do content to help educate on this. And I think that businesses and growing wealth, you're right, Vic, it's like most of the way that men have made squillions and become so powerful when it comes to their finances is through business. And if so many of us are not thinking about the idea of that or even know what kind of like entry point there is for some, you know, then of course we're going to continue to stay behind. So yeah, even if you're in a job that you love, but you'd be interested in hearing about this, please can you comment or vote on this podcast? Because I think that it would be amazing.
Should we get on to some news?
Yes, sorry.
I feel like
slight digression.
I'm gagging for it. Gagging?
Yes, but
is that weird? Is that sexual?
No. I mean, it is a thing. Everyone's like, gagging for your outfit. Like it's a thing right now. It's weird. People are like, I'm gagged. That's right.
I remember when I was younger, you know, and you don't really know what words mean. And you kind of like, you know, I'd be like, bollocks. And Dad would be like, excuse me? And I'd be like, I don't even know what it means. Balls.
Does it?
Yes.
Did you know that? Bollocks is balls.
I know, exactly.
What?
And he lost it. And I was quite young. And I was like, bollocks. And he was like, don't you dare say. Anyway, another time. This might not be podcast worthy, but I'll just say it anyway. Or you might need to like beep out a whole lot. Anyway, we were at the dinner table with like my auntie, and I think like mum and dad had some friends over, and I was talking about something obviously really passionately, and I was like, I think it was a restaurant or somewhere I'd been, but I was quite young. Anyway, I was talking about something and I was like, oh my God, it was so good. I creamed my pants. And I had no idea what it means. And everyone at the table was like, and I kind of knew. I was like, oh, I've said something. Because if you don't know what it means, you're like, okay, I've said something and
but I don't know what the connotations are.
But everyone was like, right, so the weather. Yeah, Dad was probably like, if I make a scene, she'll know it's better. Like if we just brush it under the rug and like, I know. And I was
say kind of a cute phrase. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know it's not like it's quite sexual.
I know. I was like, yeah. I was
my pants. There's so much good stuff that's happened in the news this week.
The biggest one is I've got here US shutdown. The US has not shut down, but
I love the dramatic title though.
Yeah. Got to embellish things a little bit.
I love it. Clickbait.
Yes, clickbait. That's the word I was looking for. Anyway, the US government has shut down.
What? That is quite a big deal.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Just missed a G word in there. But yeah, still quite a big deal.
I mean, honestly, I would have said that's more clickbait.
Yeah, okay.
The US government.
Yeah, it's like US shut down. Oh, we got COVID again. And cool, we've been here, done that. Yeah. The US government is shut down. Now,
this is also worth saying this is at the time of this recording. So like there may be some evolutions in the next couple of days, right?
Yes. Yeah. How did we get here? What does it mean? So like with in the US government effectively runs a budget that has to be approved by Congress. So if there is a breakdown between the US government and Congress of like not giving them money, not giving them an appropriate budget for certain things, or they can't agree on how much they spend or where they should spend it, they can't really operate as normal, the government. So they like shut down and they go, you know what? You're not giving us the funding. We're not going to operate. It's almost like a strike, I guess. If you think of like a bus company or an airline, if the workers aren't getting paid what they want to be paid, then they shut down. It's kind of the same, but at like a business level.
So sorry, where is the money coming from again?
From Congress, yeah, which is essentially they dictate where money should be spent in. And it's a bit different to New Zealand. You don't just
Congress above Parliament, government?
Yeah.
So Congress sets the budgets or the financials. That feeds into then what the government does?
Yes, yeah.
And is the whole, with Trump's, this is going to make me sound like the most ignorant person ever, but the reason that Congress is quite a massive deal, is it because he's starting to get more Trump people up there, which means it's then influencing the
so
economy?
Then you can get anything through. Like you can get like laws through, you can get like you can make a lot of changes if you have government, Senate, and the Congress. Congress is like is above the US government. So anyway, they're telling the US government what they can and can't spend money on.
Okay.
And Trump's gone, if you don't give us what we want, in terms of spending, in terms of money, we're going to shut down. Now,
oh my God, so that he's basically, Trump is striking.
Yeah, and he's blaming the Democrats in Congress, saying, this is all your fault.
If he went into PR, if he decided to launch a PR company, stunning. In fact, do our PR for the kid.
Yeah.
Like honestly, no, seriously, I feel like he can just get any weird brainwashing message to be like global news.
Yeah, I think there's a bigger, like, you know how he comes out with all his sporadic comments or like messages or, you know, something that you think is so left field and you're like, why is he doing it? I genuinely think he has a great
planned.
PR.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
I think that
it's like, now Trump, just say something weird, say something weird, you know.
Say that weird carrot joke and everyone will be distracted. You know, like it's so strange.
Or it's like, say the carrot joke, get everyone to hate carrots because we actually want to bring in some carrots from Argentina or something, you know. Like
honestly,
it's
you look at him at like face value and you think, what an idiot.
Yeah.
But then behind the scenes, whatever is going on, which is why it's scarier, because I think if he was just like, oh, sorry, let's not even go there.
I think the divide, like the fact that he's blaming the Democrat, I just think the divide he's creating between the Republicans and Democrats is just like very toxic, you know, like it's, anyway. But with the US shutdown, you might be like, cool, okay, the US government's shut down.
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
I mean, the tube strike, we can't get to work. You have to find an alternative. But what does that then mean for the government version?
Yeah, if you think about that on a US, you know, as a country level, the departments that can't operate as normal, like defense, like military, border security, air traffic control, museums, medical research facilities. So all of these places are being partially shut down or fully shut down.
What, temporarily? Because they just don't have money.
They don't have money, yeah. Rubbish truck drivers, that was the big one last time there was a shutdown. The streets were just piled with rubbish.
Sorry, when was the last time this happened?
So this is the first time it's happened in 7 years.
I mean, honestly, even 7 years ago, it's like wild.
And it's the third time Trump's done it. So he's pretty like well versed in this. The last time it happened, that it reopened, was in January 2019. They only really last they don't last very long, but it's enough to have like a severely disruptive impact. But it cost the economy $3 billion last time. Quite big. But anyway, I just want to touch on those departments because like medical research facilities, like that's like, imagine if you're trying to find a cure for cancer and now you have to shut down, you know, like all those delays impact people in the health sector. The rubbish truck drivers, I mean, that's, you know, all the rubbish truck companies that are employed by the council or like regionally, you know, just gross, that rubbish piles up. But the one that has kind of been getting a lot of attention is these economic data and like statistics centers that are unable to release economic data because of the government shutdown. So this is what we're talking about. This is all part of a bigger plan.
Right.
There's a big report that is due out on Friday.
Oh my God, what is it?
It's the jobs report. So it shows like how many people are unemployed. Like it shows the health of the job market. And anyway, that is a really important report which feeds into interest rates decisions. So this is all, in my opinion, part of a bigger plan that maybe he knows that jobs report is going to be terrible. Maybe it's his way of getting control over or influencing interest rate decisions, which we know impacts, you know, consumers, it impacts the stock market and impact, you know, so it's like this weird roundabout way, and maybe I'm reading into it too much, but everyone.
I love the Sherlock Holmes that you're doing here.
all the headlines are like, he's doing this specifically because there is data that he's either delaying being released or doesn't want to be released.
What is his huge push towards wanting to influence and change interest rates? Why is he so, because this sounds like it's just the biggest deal ever. Why is it such a big deal for him?
Because it impacts the stock market. So when we have lower interest rates, people are getting a lower return on their money in the bank. So they're like, you know what? I'm going to put in the stock market because I'm going to get a greater return. Also, businesses can borrow money much cheaper. So if you think of all the businesses that are listed on the stock market, they can now be like, oh, actually, I can go borrow some money to go launch in that new market or launch that new product or, to grow. His companies are also publicly listed companies on the stock exchange.
He's the bloody president. Like, surely he doesn't give a shit about his company at this point. Like, how much money does one need?
I know, yeah.
But also, you saying all of those things, to me, it sounds like that's a good economic decision. Why is it bad? Like the idea of more
inflation.
Money flowing into the stock market, more businesses being able to thrive. So how does inflation then in turn impact in a negative way?
Because if it gets too out of control, people day-to-day's living expenses get more and more expensive, so they can't afford things. Also, companies in the stock market, if it gets too out of control, people aren't buying their products, their services because they're too expensive. Like, we've seen how detrimental high inflation was, when we'd had the cost of living crisis. So it's you have to be so careful that you don't decrease interest rates too quickly or too far. The central bank in the US, the Federal Reserve, the Reserve Bank of New Zealand, like there is whole departments that are skilled at doing this and balancing this with all other data that's going on in an economy. And then you've got this president who has no economic background, just a business mind that wants to influence the Federal Reserve. And so this is his way, in my opinion, of influencing the Federal Reserve without actually...
Remind me of the Federal Reserve.
This is the central bank in the US. So like the one that chooses whether we go up or down with interest rates.
But why is this going to make them choose something? How is this?
He's been wanting to influence them for so long, and they're completely separate. Like that, there's a reason, so you don't get presidents in power that F the economy in the sense of influencing interest rates. So this, in my opinion, is his way of influencing. In a really roundabout way, he's going, you know what, I'm not going to give you access to the data that you need to make your decisions by shutting down the US government. So therefore, you're going to have less information, make a less informed decision. It's my way of having control of you without actually having control of you. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Balls.
I mean, that's just my opinion. I don't know.
Oh my
Don't
God,
come for me, Trump.
No. Oh my God. We can never go to the US. We're absolutely going to be banned forever.
We should start like a shadow podcast that's like, we love Trump so much. He's great.
So true. Have a podcast. It's like, everyone vote for Trump. Like, just have 3 followers.
We'll get visas like that. Yeah.
Do you know what, Vic? I was thinking this yesterday. So Halloween is coming up, right?
Yes.
Could we do a scary episode on how when someone gets into power in government, they can have a really terrifying impact on the economy if they do dodgy shit? Because I was listening to this podcast the other day that was talking about somewhere, I honestly can't even remember what country it was, but it was really fascinating to see how much like dictator or like corrupt leadership can really fuck up an economy. And like maybe we could do a case study, just because I think what's happening in the US and even this example you're using is like kind of heading potentially in that direction. Well, scary, spooky. October episode. That is, Emily off mic just said, could we please dress up as Trump? I'm here for it.
I'll do Melania and you can do Trump.
Fine. I'm fine with that. Absolutely fine.
Finally get the good dress up. It's probably not, yeah. Yes, well, this is why democracies are so important and why it's so important to vote for who's in power, because you're right. It's like you get the wrong people in there, they can actually do some significant damage. And what I am hoping this is, I mean, I say we're not a political platform, but we're always like.
I know. I mean, we're super in the middle.
Yeah, I know.
Love everyone.
I just hope this is a good reminder for everyone, how important it is to vote of who's in power, because they can have a damaging effect and they can actually create a lot more hostility, not only increase taxes or interest rates or whatever, like it's like they can actually create a lot of divide, which is So toxic and so hard to unwind. Anyway, the winner out of all this is gold.
Really?
Gold's just gone from strength to strength.
I think I've invested in gold actually.
Nice.
Yeah, not a lot, but I
Yeah.
remember doing it. I think it was around the time when that giant wobble happened, maybe 6 months ago. I put some money in gold.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So it's, I mean.
Do you want me to do a little spiel as to why gold is so great?
Yeah.
So I'm not looking at notes, everyone, I promise. What I think of when I think of gold, Vic always talks about the flight to safety. So just close your eyes and imagine 100 gulls flying in
Gulls?
the direction. Yeah, you know how they migrate towards
Yeah.
like safer pastures or whatever? This is the birds flying off thinking, shit, the land I'm on right now is dangerous. I'm going to fly to safety. And where are they flying? They're flying towards gold, a golden land that's more stable, that in a disastrous environment, everyone knows is going to be fine.
And we have so many gulls flying right now.
Yeah.
Like there is like
in fact,
everyone.
Every gull is
Mass
up in the air.
exodus from one non-gold land to a gold land. Yes. Yeah.
But the flight to safety really is the idea of when things feel unstable and scary, what can you hold on to? What do you go back to? What is the tried and true? Gold has been there forever. It's tangible. It's blah, blah, blah. Do you think that was a good explanation?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Nailed it.
So basically gold is killing it.
Gold is, continuing to kill it.
So just for anyone that doesn't know, you can actually buy gold, not necessarily like big bars like from, Chuck Bass and Gossip Girl and keep them in a safe, but like you can buy shares of gold and actually, so in the same way you would buy shares on the stock market, you can buy gold, there's ETFs. We speak about this a lot on the Investing Club. There's actually a bunch of different gold ideas. So if you would like to, find out about the different gold options.
Actually, instead of an ETF.
Oh, it's called something else, isn't
an
it?
ETC.
That's right.
An exchange traded commodity.
Yes. So if you would like to, look into some of the investing ideas that we've done in the gold space, we'll put the link in the podcast show notes.
So there's a big investing trend. Well, it started to play out already actually, but it's called Kidulting.
Who comes up with these stupid
Not
names?
me. Don't come at me.
Kidulting.
Kidulting.
Kid adulting.
Yes. Yeah. We saw it with Labubu's, right? You know, like all these adults being like, oh my God, Labubu. Oh my God.
Why was I so late to that trend? I just remember seeing all these random little fluffy things hanging on people's expensive handbags and being like, what
I
is
feel
that?
like when I'm late to a trend, I get really like, oh my God. Like if
You're quite good with trends though. Like even long necklaces I've noticed you've started wearing. I only wear short ones still.
Oh,
girl. And I keep looking at your long necklaces thinking, I don't know if I like it, but I know in a year's time I'll be like, I want a long necklace.
Anyway, yes, Kidulting is when adults kind of buy into toys and figurines and like real kid stuff. And yeah, we saw it with Labubu. We've now seen it with this company that does like jelly cats, these like squishy toys. It's a
what are
private
they?
company. Its revenue's doubled in the last 12 months. We spoke about this company, Games Workshop.
Ooh, that random little turtle thing.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So it's a soft toy.
It's more the avocado at the bottom.
What happens
They're
to
just
them?
like squishy toys.
Do you hold them?
Yeah.
And squish them?
Yeah, they're just a toy. It's like Labubu. It's just a toy.
So it's not like a stress ball with a fun thing in the middle. It's just literally a toy.
It's just a toy. It's kind of like, hey, this is my Labubu. And then it's a talking point. And they're like, oh my God, I've got a jelly cat too. And it's like,
Jelly cat.
we're leaning into that nostalgic, youthful, holding on to our childhood. Anyway, it has gone, like it's a huge trend. And we spoke about this with Games Workshop in the Investing Club like a year ago, or even more than that. And that share price has done, phenomenally well. But Games Workshop is like little figurines. And I remember when someone pitched it to the Investing Club for me to like look at, and I was like, weird, a company that does like little figurines. And they were onto something. Like it's crazy.
And that is why the Investing Club is genius, because we all see trends in different parts of our lives. So even if you're not investing right now or you're new to investing, that is such a good example of like, keep an eye out for things that you start to see booming, because in the same way that a business benefits from being a part of a big trend, like, whoever's making these random stupid soft toys.
Yeah.
If you start seeing that around you and your friends doing it, have an investing hat on. Think like,
Definitely.
Is this a company that is like a publicly listed company I could buy a share in?
Like Pop Mart, who owns Labubu, their share price is up 400% in the last 12 months.
So you put $100 in, you would have $400. Guys, and that is why we invest.
That is why we invest.
Oh my God.
There's another trend actually. Speaking of,
God, how
I'm
cool
on a roll.
is that?
I know.
Really at the forefront of all cool things.
I know. Look at me.
What is it?
On the forefront of trends. Butter.
Love it. Can get into it on a hot
I'm really
crisp
not a salesperson. Yeah. Butter.
Eating it?
Eating it. So there is a real hype at the moment for premium butter. Like we're talking like $60 for a thing of butter. Like
who makes the butter? Like what sort of animal is it coming from?
It's
sorry, but like I'm like, okay, a cow? Oh yeah, udders. It turns into milk and then turns into
cream,
butter.
Yeah.
But why is it so expensive?
It's cows that have been fed with like gold. Granules. I'm just pulling your leg now.
No, but seriously,
pulling
like
your udder.
what?
No, but essentially it's like it comes back to what Emily and I were talking about last week is like the experiences, right? People are way more willing to spend $60 to have a premium butter that tastes delicious and like is rich in flavor than spending money on clothes because they want that experience of like a beautiful restaurant, a beautiful food, a beautiful holiday, a beautiful matcha, like they are willing to spend a little bit more on these things.
This is such an interesting trend. Emily's eyes, just for anyone that cannot see her, she's sitting in the corner with the widest eyes I've ever seen, nodding at us like, this is true.
This is true. All my friends are eating butter.
Yeah.
I look at it in the supermarket and I'm like, ugh, like the cheapest one, you're just like, oh God, that must be bad for you. A premium one, nice. Like a creamy butter is like, I'm a big butter fan. Like,
so am I. Don't get me wrong. I am on the butter bandwagon. But
there's also a health trend here, right? Like the cheap margarine-esque, butter, it's got like a lot of fatty acids, a lot of, it's quite bad for you. Whereas, and I don't know if this is necessarily true for all premium butters, but there is a perception that the more expensive, the more quality ingredients, the better for you.
I love a health food product, but I absolutely cannot afford to spend more than £10 on a block of butter. I don't understand how, like, is it that, the Gen Zs will be like, come round on a Saturday morning and like their fun activity for the weekend is having toast together with really expensive butter?
I think it's more because everything has got so expensive, right? And spending money on clothes, for example, is just not as, I guess, sorry, actually.
No.
Yeah.
No, even on that, I heard a stat the other day, 3 out of 5 Americans are opting to rent their wardrobes now rather than buying them.
Yeah, and I think overseas.
It's like enormous.
Overseas holidays have got super expensive. So it's like.
Emily and I were talking about this yesterday. She's still paying for a trip 4 months ago and like crying in the corner about it because she's like, it was so expensive. Yeah. And I was on such a budget. I'm like, 6 weeks on holiday is enormous. Like,
so it's like, you might opt for a tub of butter.
Her under the bus.
Instead next time. So, yeah. But that's what I'm saying is like things are getting so expensive. It's like, you know what? This is going to be my holiday. Sorry, that sounds really
I'm trying to get on board.
Yeah.
I know I'm being negative Nancy here. I know you're right. I'm just like, it's quite weird.
I guess where I was kind of going with this is like.
I had a point.
This has been really impactful for people who live in countries that export dairy products.
Okay. New Zealand?
Yes.
Here we go.
Yeah.
We are so known for our agricultural something or other, Emily. I know she's looking at me like, what? Horses, cows, we have lots of sheep.
Our biggest export is dairy.
Thank you. That's what I was saying.
And so that's like milk, yogurt, butter. And when there is such high demand overseas and the prices have gone up and up and up because of such high demand, the locals, why if I was a company in New Zealand producing butter, would I sell to the local market when I can get 10 times more? Yeah.
No, not good.
No. So this is what's happening in New Zealand, and Norway is another country. So
but we're all so greedy, aren't we? It's kind of just like, sometimes I just want to go into like a world where we all just get paid the same, and it's just like, I feel like money causes so many issues. Capitalism is so problematic in so many ways. I would like to do a quick little plug. So this is my fault. I know last week you guys spoke about the Maddie Bougie episode was meant to go out and then I got shifted. Long story. Basically, that is now coming out this week, so on Thursday. Last week's episode actually was The Soul of Money. Do you remember we recorded that? Loved that episode. Yeah. If you haven't listened already, it was a deep dive on. We did the psychology of money, it's almost like a financial book club episode. So if you haven't listened, I found that really inspiring actually. So yeah, we'll link that in the podcast show notes. It's just come out. But the Maddie Borg episode, she's Gen Z. She's this amazing content creator, but also has a business called Pastel. Anyway, she spoke a lot about this whole like little luxuries thing, blah, blah, blah. So I think it will make more sense once you've listened to that episode.
Yes. Lastly, we've got the London Stock Exchange. So a stock exchange, give me a minute here.
Okay.
A stock exchange, whether it's the New York Stock Exchange, the London Stock Exchange, New Zealand Stock Exchange,
You got this.
that is a place where public companies list their shares for investors. You can buy and sell shares on the stock exchange. But the stock exchanges are companies themselves. So they can
This always confused me so much in the beginning.
They can actually also
Emily's face. I can just see her squinting in the corner like, what?
The stock exchanges are companies themselves, so they can list on the stock exchange.
I'm going to try this, break it down, because this really blew my mind. So it would be like, so we imagine the stock exchange or any stock exchange like a farmer's market, right? The farmer's market has heaps of different stalls. So there might be a cheese stall and they're selling cheeses. You imagine a company is that stall, the cheeses they're selling are the shares. It would almost be like maybe, okay, go for it.
Yeah,
babe. Take over.
It would like be the owner of the market being like, I'm actually going to have my own cheese stall because I want to be a part of this. I want to expand and I need money to expand my market and have more stalls. I am going to
sell something.
Go and sell something to get money to then expand my market.
Yeah. So it's almost like, yeah. Because like companies have to pay to be listed on a stock exchange, right? So the stock exchange, that's their business model, is companies coming trying to list there. It's the same as a market.
Yeah.
You have to pay to have your stall at the market, right? It's thinking about the layer on top of that is also a business and you can buy shares in that business. But basically the point here is essentially what you're trying to say is the London Stock Exchange has however many companies listed on it. I have no idea.
It has just dropped out of the top 20 stock exchanges in the world.
Oh, God, that's not good.
It's been overtaken by Mexico and Singapore.
Shit, that's bad.
Yes. The biggest is actually the New York Stock Exchange, which kind of makes sense.
Mexico has taken over London?
Its share price has fallen about 23% this year.
It's terrible.
And that's mainly due to two reasons. It's just it's all about supply and demand, right? If you don't have the ripest fruit to sell at your market, people are going to go elsewhere. And that's, the UK doesn't have exciting tech companies or AI companies. It's got like pharmaceuticals, it's got oil and gas, it doesn't have the exciting things that people are wanting to invest in right now. So it hasn't got people trading on it and using the exchange.
It's like quite dire though.
Yeah. And then also that feeds into, well, if I'm a new company, do I want to go and
set up a party where no one is attending? Yeah. Absolutely not.
Yeah, no, I want to go to the exciting party. Yeah. And so it kind of fuels this like
it's like restaurants cycle. That are empty. You're like, oh, that's terrifying. Let's go to the busy one and wait for our brunch.
And then it's a death spiral, right? Because it's like then you don't get money in, then you can't stay open.
Oh, gosh.
You can't get good staff to make good foods, and then you can't stay open. So it's just like this whole, So this is why IPOs, so when a company first lists on the stock exchange, is so important for stock exchanges because not only do you get a huge fee up front, but it's exciting. And this is why there's been such big fights over like high profile companies like
where they list or where
Revolut or those with Canva, for example, when it IPOs, like it is going to have the exchanges in the palm of its hand. It's going to be like, who wants me? Who's going to give me the best deal? Who's going to, so.
And then everyone's pitching. It's almost like an creative agency trying to get like, I don't know, some brand on board. It's like, well, this is what we're proposing.
Yeah.
We can do this and we'll drop this rate and we'll make sure that you can do this. And then they just get the pick of the litter.
Yeah. Anyway, when a share price is down so much.
Like the London Stock Exchange.
The sharks start circling.
Oh, the sharks. And they come.
Chomp,
chomp, chomp.
And Euronext, which is one of Europe's biggest exchanges, has started to circle.
Oh my God, it might want to swallow it up.
And the CEO of the London Stock Exchange has come out and said, we're not for sale, but like.
All right, darling.
Yeah, I know. It's like.
You kind of are.
It's like if there could be a hostile takeover, they could like start buying shares under the radar and then just like pop up with 20% and be like, you know what? And then shareholders could get effed off and be like, oh, I'm sick of the London Stock Exchange performance. I'm going to sell my share. Yeah, it's
What would happen if someone bought the whole exchange? Does that mean every company that's listed on the Lock Exchange, on the London Stock Exchange, would then now be listed on like the Mexico Stock Exchange if they bought it?
No, it just means they own it. So you'd still be listed on the UK Stock Exchange, but the money that the London Stock Exchange makes stays in the UK, right? Whereas like if an international owner buys it,
Shit.
then any money that's made by that business goes back to where that company is.
So it's
based.
essentially draining the UK of potentially more resources.
It's also just perceptionally. Is that a word?
perceptive.
It's also the perception. Optically, having your national exchange owned by another country, especially when you're London and you're supposed to be like one of the financial hubs of the world.
Oh, it's a bit of an ego hit, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just like a, huh? You know?
Not good.
Yeah.
But
this is the reason why share prices, if you're invested in a company and the share price doesn't continue to do well, if you're leading a company and your share price doesn't keep generating a good return for investors, you know, you do open yourself up to other situations happening.
Not good. I'd also just like to say I think we explained that very well. It's quite a complicated situation.
Well, I hope so. People
Well, yeah.
are probably listening going,
I didn't follow a word.
but
There's also so many other things that have been happening in the world right now. It does make me think we almost maybe need to look at putting some of this stuff in the investing club. Like there's you've probably already spoken about it, but I think that it's also just a good reminder if this sort of stuff really interests you, like what's going on in the world, what's happening with companies, blah, blah, blah. The investing club always gets the information and kind of like, I want to say hot off the press, but I know I'm going to sound like a 90-year-old. Yeah. Because there is so much interesting stuff that happens in the economy, in the business, money world.
And we always go on tangents on this podcast.
Yeah, I know. Don't say it like it's a bad
thing. No, it's a good thing. Love hearing about your lime escapades.
My toe still hurts. Actually still hurts. Okay, well, thanks so much for being here for the Curve Weekly, everyone.
No worries. Thanks for...
I wasn't talking to you.
No.
I was talking to the listeners, but you too. There would be no episode without you. If you liked what you heard, please follow the show so that you always get notified when our episodes drop. And we will see you next Monday.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to The Curve Weekly. Make sure you hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with all the money, biz and stock market news. And if you like what you heard, we would love a review. Thank you.
Yes, we would love a review. But if you did hate it, please, don't leave one if you hate it. No, but in all seriousness, could you please leave a review? Because it really helps other people find our cute little podcast.
And we hope you have a good week and see you next Monday.
Bye.
Bye. Sweet. Yeah. See you next Tuesday. Lol. See you next Tuesday. I mean Monday.
No, actually though, new episodes out every Tuesday. Okay, quickly. The Curve was created to empower and educate you about investing, but we are not financial advisors.
Our platform exists for educational purposes only, and it doesn't provide personalized investing advice for your individual needs and should not be relied upon to make an investment or financial decision.
And always remember to do your own research before making any investment or financial decision.
We're here for any knowledge and support you need, but the final call is always yours.
And thanks for being here.
You got this.
Yeah, we know you got this.